Welcome, Aries, to your February 2017 reading. I'm doing a quick retaping of this just because when the cards came up, my throat chakra closed right up. I could not get the words out. I had explained, I was to a point of explaining, and I actually looked for some clarification when I felt it happening. I was at the point of explaining the two-path spread and the current position, that being of the Chariot with a Knight of Pentacles clarifier for me, or for us, I should say. There was a lot of major arcana that came out here, and a lot of cards that spoke to a certain amount of the disposition of the current sign of Aries in the time we're in now. And I didn't get much beyond judgment before my throat entirely closed up. I really needed to take some time to look at these cards. So for all of you, the two-card spread, which I'm doing for all the signs, shows a current situation and a path of action or saying yes, or a path of inaction saying no, whether that be a decision, because it's always a choice. So, sorry for no friendly introduction. The overall energy at the bottom of the deck was a Six of Wands. Still is a Six of Wands. I simply had a nice gulp of water and hit the button on my text. So, that was good. All right. So, here you are, Aries, in a position of moving forward in life. I see progression for you, but there are some sort of ways to get sidetracked for you this month, I think. They are not really coming in the form of temptations or anything really bad, or they're more so like daydreams. And that's good in a way, depending on your disposition, depending on your social conditioning, and depending on where you are in your spiritual path. From the cards I got, it's all over the map. Some of you, Aries, are channeling. Some of you are far beyond where I'm at. And some of you are only awakening or reawakening after a many-year hiatus to some of these arts and some of these spiritual progressions and understandings. So I see that we're at kind of, there's a decision of staying logical, staying clearly focused, burying the head in the books kind of thing, versus doing a little bit of daydreaming, going out, being social with people who sometimes you might not even want to be around because they get way out into left field, and sometimes it might end up, in arguments and stuff like this. So yeah, this clarifier spoke to disposition, kind of reconnecting with childhood dreams and things like that. A really interesting time for you, Aries, this February. And now, even though the tarot normally talks the nitty-gritty, the day-to-day stuff, these cards came out and said, no, we're going to talk about larger spiritual understandings and things here for Aries. So the choice to give in and daydream a little bit and explore your sort of your esoteric side is coming in a Judgment card reverse, which is a sign of progression, quick progression. Almost like a thunderstorm, like things, understandings, concepts coming back to you and being validated or tossed from the recycle bin into the garbage, like whatever you're kind of applying knowledge to clarify the things that you've always been told that you had to go on faith about to validate them. So that's positive if you decide to daydream. If you decide not to, this is also positive side of that, saying that your resourcefulness will lead you to be seen as a leader, to be seen as someone who can be counted on, to be level-headed. And if you are incredibly already psychic, to come back to a bit of grounding shows that you're going to be potentially acquiring even new clientele, or it could be reconnecting with friends that You know, months or years ago might have said, I just can't hang out with them. They're talking to dead people. I can, you know. So, but it's good either way. The possible downside to getting into some daydreaming is you may be in for a quick transformation that you're not ready for. Not death itself. It's never death itself. This is more rebirth. You know, like I said, these validating thoughts, feelings, and understandings, they might transform you in a way so quick that you could be at risk of some instability if you are not grounded. You know, and this speaks for both sides, whether you're coming back to spirituality or if you are an experienced medium. So I think we got a mix of people listening today too. And if you are a reader, feel free to judge. Just please don't hate. Now, the downside of ignoring sort of daydreams and esoteric things here, you've got the Nine of Wands, which means you might get forced if you are not. I'm going to say if you are not. They're telling. If you are not experienced, if you have been shutting out spiritual growth out of your life, you might get pushed into it. That's what it's telling me. And I had to get that clear because I don't want to ever predict bad things upon people. But you might get a bit of a shove in some way or another. It might be gentle and it might not. So just a warning there, not to ignore it too much. So yeah, let yourself be out there. Let yourself be in the moment. Be present, you know. And take up a book, you know, some kind of somebody, a yogi or a monk that's, you know, been around. Like even small things you can do. The little birdie on the sidewalk with the broken wing, you know, pick it up and you'll both learn to fly. Like it's interesting. The overall outcome, if you choose to be a little bit flighty and daydreamy and exploring your spiritual side, shows a Seven of Pentacles, which means life improvement, material improvement. You'll be able to appreciate the things in your life a lot more if you take some time this month to really go within and look for what the meaning of it all is. So very good choice to take action on that. If you choose to stay grounded, which is funny because if you counterintuitive, if you choose to stay grounded, it shows again here the overall might be some eventual emotional upheaval. It could really affect your feelings, and this isn't like clinical logical thinking. We don't really have any swords going on here. Death is carrying a sickle. The magician, he's got kind of a spear. This is saying to really let go of analytical thinking to avoid your feelings getting the better of you eventually. So I would never tell you what to decide, but I'm going to say that depending where you're at in your spiritual journey, you either need to ground or you either need to let go. If you're advanced, you need to ground. If you're new, if you're revisiting, you need to let go. All right, Aries, I'm sorry about this one. It was a boomer coming in from all sides, you know, feelings, thoughts, and everything. So we'll see you next month. I hope that helped, and have a happy Valentine's Day. And let's hope the weather gets warmer and we can go play outside.